Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Cool Spot for Genesis/Mega Drive. We're on the third level, off the wall, and we gotta deal with a bunch of spiders coming off the ceilings and mice in pajamas throwing cheese at us. You'll definitely be firing your projectiles a lot as you dodge barbed wire, nails coming out of the floor, and picking up as many spots as you can. And apparently I seem to have gotten an extra life out of that. You also gotta deal with a lot of mouse traps too, and if those things hit you, if you run into them, they're going to hurt, and you're gonna be sent back maybe. Thankfully it doesn't take us long to find our first continue point. By the way, if you've managed to find any pipes that you can stand behind, any foreground pipes, be sure to jump around near them, because you can find some hidden cool items that way. You'll usually find a lot of spots behind those pipes that you can't see. So it's good to actually explore the level. Just don't waste too much time exploring. It is possible to get a time over in this level alone, just from spending a lot of time exploring, getting lost around here, and just mucking around in general, basically. Thankfully, the spiders and the mice are the only real enemies you'll deal with in this stage. The rest of the time, you're going to be dealing with making some low jumps to get spots above barbed wire wrapped around the floor, jumping between nails and over nails just to get stuff. It's pretty mazy here too, and there are alternate paths. Thankfully the game is kind enough to point you in the right direction when you need to go in the right direction. And I noticed a spot right there that I missed, so I actually tried to go to the right here and see what I can find, see what else I can destroy for points. And I find out that I am missing a couple of spots there. Also, in case a spider disappears on you, you can just hold left to move the camera left and then move the camera back to where you saw the spider, and the spider will be there again. I take advantage of that quite a few times just to get some more points, especially near the end of the stage when there's a lot of spiders that I can destroy. Also see if I can move around here and see if I can pick up that one spot that I missed. I do manage to find some more time, but it's not enough because I eventually time over eventually. Still though, I do manage to find a lot of stuff, basically as much stuff as I can. And as long as the mice aren't on screen, they can't attack you. So I managed to keep the mouse on the right, and then get the mouse on the left on screen so I can take care of him too. And thankfully your projectiles can destroy the cheese, so that's the thing. And of course I look in the behind this pipe too, and I see plenty of spots here. Not a lot, but definitely enough to miss 60% cool rating with. I wouldn't be surprised if at least a good amount of dots or spots are hidden behind those foreground pipes, because you never know when you'll find any just from jumping around all of a sudden, just finding them. Also go to the right here too, and sure enough I managed to find some spots here too, so let's go ahead and grab those. And then I decided to make a choice, and thankfully I make a good choice by going to the right first, right here, past the barbed wire, because that's another continue point that I can take advantage of. And that mousetrap really, really hurts. But I'm a lot closer to 60% already than I was a couple of seconds ago. So let's go ahead and explore some more and see what else we can see. Well, we got plenty of mice to kill. Let's see if we can't get those spiders to show up as soon as we can get them back on screen. There's one. And there's another mouse. And thankfully I managed to find some health. So I'm doing a little better now. And of course I do look around, see if there are any new enemies to destroy. And there are 2 mice here. And of course when we get up here, we got a couple of nails to jump over in our quest to get as cool as we possibly can before we reach the goal here. And we make it to the top of the level here, and we manage to kill off a mouse there. So we made it to the top of the level. We've gotten quite far in this stage, and I took a dumb hit there from that mousetrap, and it won't be the first time, as you're soon gonna see. Or the last time. Well, it definitely was the first time, but definitely not the last, though. And once we go down here, there isn't much here other than some health I somehow managed to get, as well as a few more spots. At least all the sharp stuff isn't instant death. So I'm gonna take a little bit of damage. And of course, by looking for spots here, I managed to get hit, not just a second time, but a third time. And if you land on the mousetrap a certain way, you will be launched in a certain direction. And there's some more time. That's not gonna give me a whole lot. As you can see, I have like only less than 90 seconds now. And that's not a lot of time to get to the end of the level. Especially when I'm running around picking up everything that I possibly can. And I'm pretty close to death, too. Like 1 or 2 hits away from death at least. So this isn't looking good for us. And now we're down to a minute left. And if I take another hit, I'm pretty much history. All the while, as I'm playing through the stage, I have no idea how much time I'm wasting just looking for everything. And I do manage to get a little bit of my health back. So that's a thing. So naturally, I decide to go over there and see if I can get that one spot that I managed to miss, and thankfully I do manage to find it after shooting down a couple of spiders. But it's not until this point that I realize I'm running out of time, and I know I'm not going to make it in time. And if you run out of time, you're going to lose a life. Which, of course, isn't fun for anybody. I do take down a couple of enemies on the way to my demise, though. Thankfully, I managed to go back to the last checkpoint that I hit, and I'm back at full health, and all the enemies I destroyed up to that point, pretty much gone. They don't come back. So at least that's a thing. But you can definitely spend a lot of time in this level, have a lot of fun with it, just like I did. Forget that you're wasting a lot of time. There is a specific path to the level you have to take, but there are some detours, and you can definitely get lost in those trying to find everything that you can. And at this point, I managed to gain access to the bonus level. Of course, I do try to find exactly anything else that I can find that's left. And on my way down here, I didn't know that the cage was over there, and I accidentally hit the lock. So there was probably a few more things that I could have picked up past the cage, but I didn't get them, sadly. Nevertheless, I did manage to make it to at least 90% cool, and I have a huge time bonus thanks to me running out of time earlier, so I'm now able to get another extra life. And now it's time for the third bonus level. And I had never played this prior to recording this video because I never reached it. So because of that, this is basically my first playthroughs of the third bonus area. And you definitely don't want to run into the mines, as you can see, because they do damage you. And they can hurt you. And if you lose too much health, if you run out of life in the bonus area, you won't lose a life, but you will get kicked out. Also, somewhere in the upper right-hand corner is the letter C, which we'll need to spell on Cola. That will net us our third continue if we can manage to get it. I don't get it here, thanks to my running out of time, but I do manage to find it the next time I'm here. Nevertheless, despite my inexperience with the bonus stage here, I do try to get as many cool points as I can. I thought maybe I'd be able to find a clock to add more time to however much time I had left, but thankfully I was unable to do that. And now we head to the fourth level, waiting around. I actually talked to Kurisu Yamato the other day, because I just started playing this yesterday, and I actually like what I'm playing so far. And you can see from all this platforming and shooting down these frogs and everything that you're going to be doing here, that this is a hard level. So hard, in fact, that he told me that he used to rent this game all the time just to see if he could get past this level. And the best he could do was off the wall. He could never make it past level 4. And I believe there's only 11 levels in this game, I think. But they're pretty hard the longer you go, from what I can imagine. Especially when you have to figure out where all the frogs are and you have to shoot them down from a safe distance. And you have to do the kind of platforming that starts showing up here. Now, there are the usual bubbles that we've seen, but there are also some smaller ones that we started seeing in the bonus area. The third one, anyway. This is where you start getting introduced to these smaller bubbles proper. And if you jump into them, you'll take a ride into them. When Cool Spot starts finding his way out of it, you know you don't have much time in the bubble left, and you're going to have to find a place to land. All the while, you have to land on these little UFO platforms, which you have only about a second, or maybe a fraction of, to jump off of to get to where you need to go. And you need to figure out where you need to go quickly. And I find it amazing that I managed to get that 7-up icon to get a little bit more coolness there. And of course, I go back for those icons because I can. And now we're over here. This is where it starts getting a little bit more difficult. Especially with the planes that we've been seeing as we've gone through this whole upper area where we have all the blimps and the rockets, all the model toy platforms that we have to slide off of and basically jump from one to another just to get around this level. This is a pretty weird stage. We're in like some sort of toy store or something. And apparently I managed to get that bubble to respawn. Excellent. Managed to get this to respawn again, and I want to get that spot in that 7-up logo. Now I'm going to drop all the way back to the beginning, but we're now able to find the cage at the very end, which is going to be on the upper right corner of the level. It's as far up and right as you're going to get. By the way, all this water here in the waiting pool, instant death if you land on it. Yeah, that's pretty depressing. Imagine being a kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old. Your platforming skills aren't exactly up to snuff. You have to remember where all these UFO platforms are. You really have to think fast on them, or else you're probably going to land either in the waiting pool or onto another lily pad platform if you're lucky enough somehow. And then you have to get all the way back to where you were. Just imagine that. I can imagine this would be a challenge for any kid who has only been playing video games for not very long. And I landed in a drain because I thought I would be able to land on the platform. I did not expect that to happen. From here, I keep forgetting where I was supposed to go, so I head to the left. I realized it was probably better to head to the left, and thankfully I went in the right direction. Pretty easy to get lost here too. At least when you reach the top, the spiky part of the model rockets, you don't slide around anymore. And there are slopes that make you slide, and you have to keep fighting against them just by going against them and repeatedly pressing the jump button when you're on the ground. And you pretty much have to jump to the right as soon as you start sliding there to get to that one UFO platform. And thankfully we managed to find another continue point. And I keep thinking there's something down there. There isn't, as I figured out eventually. And I just continue on to the right. Slip up a little there, but at least I have an idea of where to go now. And I've pretty much collected everything I've seen up to this point. Actually doing pretty well for ourselves at this point. We're almost at 85%. Which means I can go ahead and do that bonus level again and see if I can actually get some more stuff than I did last time. And I kept thinking you had to go up there. You didn't. You have to go over here to the right. Just take a weird leap of faith somehow to that UFO platform. And now that there's no 7-Up icon to pick up, I just fight my way over here, shoot down this plane enemy that likes to drop bombs. You'll see several of them throughout the stage, as you've seen. And by dropping down here, we get 2 more 7-Ups, 2 more spots, and if we picked up everything up to this point, 100% coolness. Time to free this guy from the cage and complete the level. Yeah, just try to remember where those UFO platforms are when you're like 8 or 9 years old. That's definitely not an easy task, and it's still not an easy task even for me, and I've been playing games for years. Anyway, it's time to try out the 3rd bonus level again. I actually take a more arcane route this time. I just mess around because I know I'm not going to get anywhere this time around. I know I'm not going to completely get everything this time around. Instead, I go straight to the top as much as I can. And apparently every 75,000 points, you get an extra life. That is interesting. Figuring this out as I do post commentary on these videos. Also trying to make my way up to the upper right corner here and see if I can pick up not only some more of those cool spots, those little mini spots there, but also to see if I can find the continue icon anywhere. And thankfully I managed to find it right there. But of course if I get hit again, I'm going to die. I won't lose a life, but I will be booted out of the bonus level. And before you know it, that's when that happens. Love how the little cool spot icon falls down there. But anyway, we managed to pick up the C, so we now have half of the word Uncola. I hear if you're playing the European version, because they didn't really have 7-Up, you spell out the word Virgin instead, Virgin being Virgin Games, the developer of this game. Next up is level 5, Toying Around, but that won't be until the next video, so join me next time where I go through levels 5 and 6. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!